Coming up next, find out what new scholarship raised more than $50,000 for students with mental health challenges.
Plus, find out what changes are coming to the University Park Airport and how it will affect your next flight. Also, what kind of obstacles do international students face after graduation? The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Courtney Allen.
And I'm Jerome Taylor. Thanks for joining us. Pennsylvania volunteer fire companies will soon get millions of dollars in new state funding. That's a big increase over last year, but some firefighters say it still isn't enough. Volunteer fire companies in Pennsylvania will be getting $60 million in support funds this year, which is a $5 million increase from 2018. The money will be distributed to multiple volunteer fire companies across the state, and the amount each area gets is based on population and assessed property value. And there are also restrictions on how the funds can be used.
If you're out in the rural areas, and then the restrictions may be harmful, because if you've a building that's fallen apart, or you have apparatus that is in dire need of repair, you can have everybody dressed up with all the stuff they need. They can't get, they can't operate. What's the point? Even though the annual funding for volunteer firefighter companies increased this year, there are still certain places in the state that actually may need more assistance. This money comes back based on your population and your assessed property value. Those rural companies getting far less money than we are.
Steve Baer says that 2013 funding for Alpha Fire Company was around $550,000. And last year, that was down by about 25%. But the expensive equipment, like thermal image cameras and breathing apparatuses, can make some companies' budgets tight, especially when you consider the lifespan of that equipment. Everything you see here, just about $6,000. So this is very expensive, but obviously it's mission critical. This part of the breathing apparatus expires. It has a 15-year life. So every 15 years, you pretty much have to replace just about everything I've got in my hand here. Baer believes one way to help the current system is with general aid, so that fire companies can use the funds to improve their specific department needs. In State College, I'm Jerome Taylor for the Senate County Report. Currently, volunteer fire companies can only use the funds for firefighter health and wellness training, as well as new equipment.
A new scholarship named for a former Penn State student killed by police has now raised $50,000. The scholarship honors Osaze Osagi, who was killed 7 months ago in an officer-involved shooting in State College. Police were initially serving a mental health warrant. Money raised from family, friends, and the community will be matched by the university. The scholarship will benefit students facing mental health challenges and other disabilities.
The University Park Airport is projected to have a record number of travelers once again this year, and that means more expansion. Nittany Express, the company that provides shuttle services to and from the airport, is adding an extended parking lot and a new building with valet and shuttle services. The extra parking lot will add more than 200 parking spaces. Construction will continue in the coming months and is expected to be done next spring.
There's a new twist in the controversy over a letter criticizing a Penn State football player's hair. Before Saturday night's game in Iowa, Penn State players warmed up in a t-shirt that read, "Chains, tattoos, dreads, and we are." Penn State personnel took away the shirt, saying while they're supportive of the students expressing themselves, they're expected to wear team-issued apparel on game day. The university also said it wanted to maintain NCAA compliance. The shirts were made by a popular Penn State bar, Champs Downtown, after a fan's note took aim at player Jonathan Sutherland's hair.
For many college seniors, their final semester is all about applying for jobs and planning their careers. But for many international students who want to stay in the U.S., that process isn't so easy. Aaron Kemp takes a look.
I feel like I'm a little being discriminated against. And I have no control over it.
After graduation, international students' visas typically only allow them to stay in the country for a year. After that time is up, they need support from an employer, known as sponsorship, to get a new visa to stay in the country and work. Chug says he got through 2 interviews with a finance company and was ready to fly out for his last round before he got a call from HR.
They asked me where I was from and whether I would need a sponsorship now or in the future.
When he got off the phone, he thought everything was still going smoothly until the next morning.
I got an email saying, we cannot go forward with the interview because we cannot and we will not hire any international students because we cannot sponsor them.
Yusuf Sabah graduated from Penn State in 2016. Now he's working for Reuters in Egypt. He had to leave the U.S. shortly after graduation because he couldn't find an employer willing to sponsor him, even an immigration rights group he worked for.
People are going to the US, they're spending money and, lots and lots of money and getting a degree, a US degree, and then they're telling them to leave. That's just absurd to me.
Sabah says there are many misconceptions about immigrants just needing to get in the line to come in the country.
There is no pathway. Give us a line and we'll wait in it.
Chugg says he will continue to work to achieve what he came to this country for.
I love my country. I'm just here to make a good career out of the opportunities here.
For Senate County Report, I'm Erin Kemp.
Those on the other side of the argument says it should be tougher for international students to stay here because the priority should be jobs for American citizens.
We've had some great fall weather lately, but will it continue all week? We'll check the 7-day forecast coming up.
Plus, thousands turned out to support a common goal, an annual event aimed at helping kids who really need serious help. Also, coming up, it's almost Halloween, and that means hundreds of pumpkins at a popular festival in our area. That story is after the break.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
It's still 4 months until Penn State's annual dance marathon, but the events leading up to it are in full swing. The annual Thon 5K race happened on Sunday, and reporter Samantha Rank was there.
Since 2002, thousands of Penn Staters have participated in the annual Thon 5K race. Whether running or cheering along the sidelines, the event has brought together the community for a day filled with fun and inspiration for kids just like Alexandra Smith. 2 years ago, Alex was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Since then, the Thon organization has become a huge part of her life, providing her hope throughout her fight against the most common form of childhood cancer.
Mom! There were times when she said, I don't want to do this anymore. I've been sick for 2 years. I don't want to take the medicine. I don't want to do this. And the kids here at Penn State were the kids that brought her through.
It's fun to hang out with the community here. And there's just so many other chemo patients and cancer patients that are around my age. I've met them and we can relate.
As you can see from the crowd behind me, tons of runners turned out for the annual Thon 5K. For the last 19 years, this event has served as yet another opportunity to support the Penn State Dance Marathon and the fight against pediatric cancer. The Penn State equestrian team adopted Alex as its Thon child shortly after her diagnosis. Over the years, Alex has learned a lot, even how to ride a horse.
To be with these young adults is really important for her. It's teaching her the importance of being around young people and just enjoying life. She's over there right now goofing off with her club. And that to me is the best reward as a parent you could ever get.
Alex finished her last round of treatment in May of this year, making her another winner in the battle against pediatric cancer. In University Park, I'm Samantha Rank for the Center County Report.
There are many other events leading up to Thon weekend, including 100 Days Until Thon, coming up in November.
Halloween is coming up in just 2 weeks, and one of the most popular events at this time of year happens at the Penn State Arboretum. Reporter Bailey McBride has more on the crowd that turned out over the weekend.
Nestled in the back corner of Penn State's University Park campus, a botanical garden attracts students, faculty, and community members. One of the most popular events of the year at the Arboretum is the annual Pumpkin Festival.
Last weekend, participants came here to pick up pumpkins, and today they're entering them in the Jack-o'-lantern competition here at the Arboretum's Pumpkin Festival at Penn State.
Divided by age groups, judges walk through the display, ribboning what they deem the best pumpkin in that category. Artist Terry Watson has been coming to the Pumpkin Festival since it began. He displays his carvings for spectators to enjoy, but does not enter them in the annual contest.
Honestly, as far as creative art, just pumpkin carving. So that's it. So I do it once a year, which is, it's fun.
Watson discovered this talent years ago when he was working with kids and began free-handedly carving intricate designs.
Sort of have a theme every single year. So usually I have more than one theme, but this year has been busy.
Watson loves uniting families with his pumpkin carvings and hopes it helps create family memories. For many, coming to the Pumpkin Festival has ignited childhood memories they get to relive each year.
I grew up driving my mom crazy, carving millions of pumpkins, and just to see all the pumpkins out here and the kids and everybody being excited.
In University Park, I'm Bailey McBride for the Center County Report.
The Arboretum at Penn State will hold its annual winter celebration in December, which includes holiday performances for crowds to enjoy on the lawn.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Casey Rigner with your forecast. Outside the Penn State golf courses right now, we just have a few thin clouds, nothing that sun isn't penetrating through. It was cooler this morning. I actually had to scrape some frost off my car, but we're warming up. 55 degrees right now here in central Pennsylvania with a south-southeast wind at 5 miles per hour. 50s across the board for the rest of the Commonwealth, slightly warmer down in central and southeastern Pennsylvania. Temperatures already in the 60s. Now, locally, there's not really much going on in our neck of the woods, but our next big weather maker right now is just along the Great Lakes. What this system is going to do, the front associated with it, is going to bring us some rain for your Wednesday. So as you're headed out tomorrow, it's going to be important to bring the rain gear with you. It's going to move across the state from west to east. So western Pennsylvania from Bradford all the way down to Pittsburgh and Johnstown. You'll see the bulk of this system first on your morning commute into the afternoon hours. And then us here in central Pennsylvania, we'll be experiencing some rain by the late morning, early afternoon on Wednesday. It's going to continue to move to the east from the Wyoming Valley all the way down to Philadelphia. You may even have the heaviest rounds of rain with this front late on Wednesday evening. It's going to continue to move up to the north and east, and we may have some lingering showers here. Nothing that's going to be too long lasting or too widespread. It should fizzle out by the afternoon on Thursday. 63 here today, plenty of sunshine with a south wind. Tonight we'll cool off to 48, winds still out of the south, and then tomorrow it'll be a little bit cooler because of the rain and the clouds, 58 degrees as our high. Now the next 7 days, Thursday it's going to be a little bit breezy, but the great news about this forecast is look at later this weekend. We seem to clear up just in time for Saturday. We have a huge weekend here in Happy Valley. The Michigan Whiteout game, College Game Day is going to be here, so if you want to get your chance to be on TV and you head to Old Main, bring a jacket or sweatshirt. We'll be in the 30s and keep it around for the game because we'll cool off to the 40s by game time.
Sounds good.
It'll be a little cold, but I'm sure we'll enjoy it. The crowning of this year's Penn State Homecoming King made history. Reporter Carlos Flores shows you why.
Penn State's 100th homecoming made history. Frederick Purnell became the first Black, openly queer member of the homecoming court.
When I went through the Penn State's histories and looked at the history of homecoming, the stories that are often celebrated are not people who look like me, were very seldom people who act like me, and it was very seldom, and it was even rare to see any stories of people who were both Black and openly queer.
Purnell was named the winner of the Guide State Forward Award, the equivalent of homecoming king or queen. He hopes this historic event will pave the way for other minority groups.
So I think this is definitely a stepping stone. I feel like more people will, when people think about who embodies the Penn State community, they'll open their mind and not just think of the standard people who are involved in things like the tour guiding groups or the people who are in student government, but actually look out to the people who are fighting for the rights of the minoritized communities on campus.
Being very active on campus, Purnell received massive support from those around him, and especially from the minority and queer community.
Freddie actually told me a while back how he was looking forward to becoming homecoming, and I was like, yo, you should definitely do it. It's such a huge benchmark in history, Penn State is predominantly white, predominantly straight. Not a lot of students get coverage when they are outside of that norm, so to speak, and especially students of color.
The moment Purnell received the award in front of 107,000 people, he felt something he rarely felt before in college. He felt seen.
Because I've gone through a lot here, but I've also learned a lot and grown a lot as an advocate. And as a person, it made it feel like all of that was recognized by the university.
For the Center County Report, I'm Carlos Flores.
Now, Carolyn Sistrand with sports.
It's Whiteout Week at Penn State, and a popular college football program is coming back to Happy Valley. We have the details on where and when to see it next in sports. Also coming up, State High's football's undefeated season was tested in a big way against Central Dauphin. We'll recap all the action from their homecoming game.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
I'm Carolyn Sistrand with sports. ESPN College Game Day is coming back to Penn State once again. The award-winning pregame show featuring former State College resident Chris Fowler, also Kirk Herbstreit, Lee Corso, Desmond Howard, and others will be here for the whiteout game. Reporter Will Desatel is live at Beaver Stadium with more. Will?
Thanks, Carolyn. Beaver Stadium will be rocking on Saturday night with likely close to 111,000 fans expected to pour in to watch Penn State take on Michigan. Now, also just about 10 hours before kickoff, thousands are going to head over to the Hub Lawn to watch ESPN's College Game Day. After Penn State's win over Iowa on Saturday, it was announced that Game Day will be back for the whiteout game this year. It's the third year in a row that the popular college football program is returning to Penn State's campus. It's been here for whiteout games the past 2 years, setting up shop in front of Old Main. But this time it'll be on the Hub Lawn. That announcement just happened less than 2 hours ago. Game day is on the air from 9 a.m. till noon. Penn State enters this weekend ranked 7th in the latest AP poll, while Michigan trails behind them at number 16. Live from Beaver Stadium, I'm Will Desitel for the Center County Report.
Thanks, Will. The Nittany Lions are ranked 7th in the AP poll after their hard-fought win at Iowa on Saturday night. Penn State held on to a close game 17-12 at Kinnick Stadium. The defense held the Hawkeyes to an early field goal. KJ Hamler answered with a 22-yard leap and score, putting the Nittany Lions ahead 7-3. True freshman Noah Cain stepped up in the running game, totaling 102 rushing yards on 22 carries. Cain also ran for a 5-yard touchdown with 5:17 left in the fourth to seal the win. To high school football, State High's unbeaten season is over. They'll look to get back on track after their first loss on Friday night. Reporter Zachary Smith has the story.
In a heavyweight conference matchup, the State High Little Lions took on the Central Dauphin Rams on homecoming weekend. The Rams won 34-13 behind a big fourth quarter, led by quarterback Max Mosey and the defense. He threw for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns, while the defense had a pick six and a fumble return for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Both teams and their fans came into this game feeling confident about winning this game.
State High fans showed up to the game believing that their team is going to the postseason, but Central Dolphins fans showed up believing that they too can't be stopped.
We're looking like state champs right now. You know what I'm saying? That's arrogant. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's the confidence I got.
Good. They're 7-0 to date, so I think 3 more games.
Scoring 28 unanswered points in the fourth quarter after being down 7-6. With the loss, State High dropped to 7-1, while Central Dauphin improved to 6-2 and remained undefeated in conference play. In University Park, I'm Zachary Smith for the Center County Report.
State High travels to Altoona this Friday to take on the Mountain Lions. Penn State men's hockey's win against Sacred Heart on Saturday gave coach Guy Godowski the 300th win as an NCAA coach. In their official season home opener series, Penn State swept Sacred Heart at Pagula Ice Arena. On Saturday, Cole Holt scored his first, putting Lions on the board. Shortly after, Brendan Byro scored his first goal of the season. Penn State owned the ice for most of the game until Sacred Heart came back with 4 third-period goals. Freshman defenseman Mason Snell scored his first NCAA goal, winning the game for Penn State 5-4. Next up is Alaska Fairbanks on Thursday night. After 2 big home matches back-to-back, Penn State women's volleyball brought some fire to the court over the weekend. Reporter Emerald Baptiste reports from Rec Hall.
The Nittany Lions faced 2 tough conference opponents over the weekend at Rec Hall. After a tight 5-set win against Maryland on Friday, Ohio State was up next on Saturday night. Penn State swept the Buckeyes 3-0. Coach Russ Rose was happy with the effort.
I thought we played a lot better, especially in the areas where we didn't play really well last night.
Johnny Parker finished her night with 12 kills and Kendall White added 11 digs. The Nittany Lions won the first set 25-12, while the second set was a back-and-forth effort by both teams. Penn State pulled away with a 25-20 win and snagged the win in the third set, 25-19. After beating Maryland, Penn State takes home another win by beating Ohio State. The Nittany Lions now go on the road and won't be back to Rec Hall for more than a week. In University Park, I'm Emerald Baptiste for the Center County Report.
The Nittany Lions hit the road this weekend with games against Michigan and Michigan State. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Carolyn. Coming up next, ever wonder how far it would go if you launched a pumpkin into the air with catapults? We'll take you to a popular festival centered around that question. That's after the break.
Taught him how to hit a baseball.
How to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
There's one thing you can never have sex without,
It's not something you buy.
or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Of all the fall festivals in our area, the Pumpkin Chunkin' Festival at Bald Eagle State Park might be the most unique. Reporter Mitch Stewart was there over the weekend to watch pumpkins get catapulted into Foster Joseph Sayers Lake.
The natural beauty of Bald Eagle State Park was the setting for a popular fall event, the 9th annual Pumpkin Chunkin' Festival. Nothing says October better than people propelling pumpkins into the air using different types of catapults. The Smokin' Llamas Pumpkin Chunkin' team reeled off some of the biggest tosses of the day. Tom Bush, the team's captain, was excited to show off his group's trebuchet prowess.
So this is our 10th year of competition, and here we are at Bald Eagle State Park, which is one of our funnest events where we merely throw them into the lake.
Bush said that the group had a great time teaching people about launching pumpkins.
Then they open the gates and we get to visit with the fans. And so it's just neat. They come in and have great questions, and I just love interacting with the fans.
We have literally launched into the fall season here in Center County, courtesy of the Smokin' Llamas amateur Pumpkin Chunkin' team. They go to the World Championships in Delaware every year. Because of them, we've been able to be shooting these pumpkins into Foster Joseph Sayers Lake here behind us all afternoon long. It's been a blast here. And of course, gotta be prepared. Nearly 100 local craft and food vendors were there, along with live musical performances and hay rides. Emergency responders even gave people an inside look at some of the Howard Fire Company's vehicles. Penn State student Ben Baumgartner said this event was worth the drive from State College.
Probably the favorite part is just coming here with my friends on a nice fall day and just having a good time.
On a gorgeous day in Center County, this annual event didn't disappoint. In Howard, I'm Mitch Stewart for the Center County Report.
Proceeds from the event will go to future festivals and the Howard Fire Company number 14.
That's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com.
And you can also follow us anytime for breaking news on our Twitter feed, that's at Center County REP, or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Join us next time for our newscast on Friday. Have a good day.
Brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth. Every day and every night. Now it's your parents' turn. Here's what you gotta do. Look at your toothbrush and I can brushy, brush your teeth.